everybody. Welcome to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things Goosebumps. My name is Gary.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about book number 11.
The Haunted Mask. This book was originally released in September of 1993. One of the classics, obviously. And yeah, it's book number 11. I'm being redundant. My words. Where are they today? I don't know.
We'll find them.
Speaking of finding words, you want to tell us what this book is about, Gary?
Yes. This book is about being face to face with a nightmare. How ugly is Carly Beth's Halloween mask? It's so ugly that it almost scared her little brother to death. So terrifying that even her friends are totally freaked out by it. It's the best Halloween mask ever. It's everything Carly Beth hoped it would be, and more. Maybe too much more, because Halloween is almost over and Carly Beth is still wearing that special mask.
Ooh. I mean, don't we all wear masks? No, let's get meta.
Yeah.
Let's get, let's not meta. What's the word I'm thinking of? Let's get existential.
Yes. The sequel to Let's Get Invisible. Let's get existential.
Let's get existential. That will give you goosebumps.
Yes.
And nightmares. Face to face with a nightmare.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom.
I love how 90s the description is. That even her friends are totally freaked out by it.
I know. It could be read in a valley vibe and work pretty well.
Like, totally, oh my God.
How ugly is Carly Beth's Halloween mask? It's ugly.
Totally ugly. Like, totally tubular. It is not tubular. Like, no. Gag me with a spoon. Okay. So I watched too many movies.
Yep. I am also guilty.
So we have Carly Beth.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're immediately introduced to this very excitable scaredy cat. Like, she's literally a scaredy cat. Everything makes her scream.
Yes.
Which is weird. I kind of wanted to psychology that a bit. Like, Carly Beth is having pretty extreme reactions early on to everything.
Yeah.
Someone drops a tray and she screams at the top of her lungs. And
yeah. When I was reading that, I was like, something's going on with this girl.
I'm like, does Carly have like PTSD or something? What's happening here? She's highly triggered by anything and everything, which of course you have good old Chuck and Steve loving to mess with that. They love to trigger her fear.
Just a couple of dicks doing dick things.
They're off to the mirror world. I mean, I'm not surprised from a guy named Chuck, but come on, Steve.
Right. Do better, Steve.
Do better, Steve. Find different friends.
Yes.
You're not doing very well here.
Yeah. And because of her extreme reactions, it just eggs people on even more to harass her, which is unfortunate for dear sweet scaredy cat Carly Beth.
But can we talk about how like over the top their behavior is? The first prank that we kind of get exposed to that they're pulling on her is tricking her to eat a sandwich with an actual live worm inside of it. Like, I don't care if you're a scaredy cat or not. That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. I would not handle that well. I probably would have punched both of them in the throats.
Yeah. Not since this happened to Michael have I been so unpleasantly...
They're only noodles, Gary. And I like they kind of do put a play on that because they're like, it's not really a worm. Okay, it's a worm.
It's a worm.
And for those that don't know, that was a Lost Boys reference. And my boy Gary here knows me so well. He knew I was going to love that reference. Hats off to you, Gary. And in this case, they are not only noodles. She actually eats a worm, and that's disgusting. And she runs home feeling embarrassed and vowing revenge, as one would do. Like, I don't blame her in that moment. I would be equally fuming and like, I will get you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's a school when this happens, right? And she just friggin' leaves school to run home because she took a bite of a worm.
Yeah, I think RL kind of skipped over that part
Yeah.
because this is lunchtime and she just
Mhm.
booked it home. And
Right.
it's just like mom doesn't really say anything other than like, "You cool? Let me show you about this cool art project I made."
Mother of the year.
Yeah. She doesn't even look at the time. She's just like, "Hey, look, I've been waiting all day to show you this head I made that looks
Mhm.
exactly like yours."
Yes. Uh, I that's a strange gift. I understand it's sweet, but I wouldn't know what to do if my mother gave me a bust of me.
I don't know if she actually gave it to her
Well,
though.
true.
She shows it to her, but it's like, "Look, I have your head on the mantle." And it's like, "All right, look here, Vlad the Impaler. You are not allowed to take my head and put it on the mantle." But mom makes her this gift and gets very upset when Carly Beth is afraid of it, which again, we have over the top, overreacting Carly Beth, who is scared of a plaster of Paris head.
Yeah.
You just have to wonder what
Mhm.
the heck is going on with this child because her brother is not like that. We're introduced to another little brother named Noah. So, as you recall in Let's Get Invisible, we also had a little brother named
That's
Noah.
right. Wow.
So, I'm assuming this is not the same Noah,
Probably not.
uh, unless this is the mirror world and good Noah is now her little brother, which is why we have masks existing here that are doing bad things.
I like this. I like this theory.
Right? Like little tie-ins. So we have a little Noah who he's not as scaredy cat as her. Like
No.
he likes pranks, he likes silliness, and he seems like all right. I'm gonna be honest. Out of the two siblings, Carly Beth annoyed the heck out of me early on. But I'm like, Noah, you kind of cool boy. It was the reverse in the last one with the Noah.
For
This
sure.
one, I'm like, we cool, Noah.
So it definitely is mirror Noah.
Mirror Noah. Mirror Noah killed his original family, and now he's at Carly Beth's house. So
And Carly knows this, and that's why she's so freaked out all the time.
maybe, or maybe she knows she's living in the mirror world.
Right?
And so everything makes her nervous because she just doesn't know when something bad's going to happen because it's all kind of bad because all the dicks got sent to the mirror world. So, as we see in Chuck and Steve.
That's right. Chuck.
Oh, Chuck.
That guy. And we never hear about the dad, right? So,
Just say he's calling.
oh, that's right. That's right.
He's on a trip.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, because that's how she gets away with leaving the house in the scary costume. Because mom's like, well timing of the phone ringing. She's like around the corner, gonna see Carly Beth, and then ring, ring. Oh, that must be your dad calling from his work trip. Have fun, honey. Bye.
Because no one else ever calls me.
Right? It's just
To assume it's him.
and telemarketers.
Yes.
And we also, we discover that apparently during Halloween time is also science fair time because we get a scene within the book of the science fair and her planet project with Sabrina, her best friend, who, by the way, is not a very good best friend
No.
because she laughs at all the pranks that they pull on her.
Mm-hmm. But then she shows up and she's like, "Oh, Carly Beth, I'm so sorry that happened. You were laughing, bitch."
Actually, she even goes further because she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened, but it was kind of funny."
Yeah, right.
It's like, what the heck? Even if you think it's funny, you're not supposed to say that to her.
Yeah.
That is not what best friends do.
Nope.
I mean, unless you fall on your face and your friend, is laughing, that's okay. But when it comes to someone like scaring the heck out of you and you're embarrassed and running out of rooms because we're that like dramatic in our responses, you are not supposed to then be like, "Hey, dramatic friend,
Right.
that was kind of funny."
She does kind of have like the Scooby-Doo reaction, doesn't she?
She really does. She is total Scooby-Doo reaction. She's like, zoinks, and then off she goes. But yeah, it's and of course Steve and Chuck cause a muck. Hey, look, that rhymes.
Hey.
Steve and Chuck caused a muck. And they destroy the science fair just because. And honestly, it is overreaction. Overreacting. All he does is pinch her leg,
Right.
and she's like, "Ah, tarantula!" and zoinks out of the room. So, what does she do? What one typically does. She's like, I'm going to get revenge. And she goes and spends $30, which is a lot of money
Yeah.
for the 90s,
Oh, yeah.
on this, super scary Halloween mask. But let's talk about that Halloween mask.
It's a little different than as is shown on the front cover of the book. But like, to me, like I gravitate towards that design. It's so nice.
It's so nice.
So nice.
Yeah, I mean, she's at the store. The shop owner's kind of weird, but he's also kind of like this mystery enigma man wearing a cape or whatever. And, it's Halloween, so that just doesn't even seem weird to her. But I feel like if you're going to own a Halloween mask shop, you'd probably be dressed up all the time anyways, to just like be in the vibe, part of the branding maybe.
And a cape
She
is
finds her way
less
to
invasive than a mask all the time. So
Yeah. I mean, for sure. You can actually hear through the cape. What? You know what I mean. So she finds this back room that she's not supposed to go into because he gets a call. And it's like, dude, whatever happens to you at this point is your fault because you went somewhere you were not supposed to go. Like, these kids never learn. I'm all about a little bit of urban exploration, but like, you go into a room where these creepy, terrifying masks are. The shop owner catches you and is like, get out, and tries to convince you not to buy the masks. Probably you should listen.
I would.
I don't know. That's just me. She's got a little bit of like suburbia privilege though. She's like, I won't leave. I won't leave. Give me that mask.
I feel like he spent 5 pages trying to talk her out of the mask.
He really did, and she didn't listen. But okay, let's just think about this for a minute. I don't recall if they said her age, but I'm guessing they're like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And because that's what most of these characters are.
Right.
And I kind of wonder what the shop owner, especially because, at what he says at the end of the book, if it really was about reverse psychology. Like, if he easily gave her the mask, would she maybe be like, I don't know. Or I don't know, because I feel like she wanted it pretty badly anyway, so he didn't need to reverse psychology her.
Right.
Or was it like something in his, like, if I feign, please don't stop, then I at least did my, due diligence, and whatever happens on you. So it kind of clears his moral compass there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I didn't really think about that part too hard, but you could be right. I mean, if you tell a child no, obviously they're going to want it more and more and more. And by the 5th page, they're definitely not going to take no for an answer. So
like the 5th page, as 5 pages go. Yeah, and it reminds me of Willy Wonka when Mike TV is going to go, zap himself through, and Willy Wonka's like, no, don't stop. And it's clear that he just does not care. He's like, you're going to do it anyways, and whatever happens to you, bad child, is the lesson you have to learn. And so I kind of was wondering if the shop owner was kind of along that vibe of like, no, don't, how dare you. Like, this little bratty girl is going to do what she wants anyways, so I'm going to just pretend, but we all know she's going to get her way. Right. And kind of we hope it happens, that she gets what's coming to her.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I really did not like her character. Like, the personality of the character. I understand that's how she was written.
Yeah.
And it was probably intended that way, but she really wasn't likable to me. Like, for me, I didn't care if the mask ever came off, I'll be honest.
I found her sympathetic but annoying, I think. Because to be a scaredy cat, but I don't know, it's the extreme level of scaredy cat with her that Like I want to be sympathetic, but at the same time, I'm like,
It's hard for me to be sympathetic without having more of a story
right.
in terms of like, why are you so scared? If there's some kind of trauma that caused this, like, okay, I would definitely get it a bit more. But for me, she came across as someone who is just that scared and takes it over the top every time. And because people feed into it, whether it's enabling it by scaring her or babying her by, with every time she reacts, it's become this spiraled thing where and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like every scene where she's just screaming at every little thing, I'm like, oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah. But she goes from like arguably sympathetic to villainous pretty quick. And I guess
I
that's,
liked her villainy.
yeah. Seeking that revenge.
I mean, okay. So the way I kind of view her character is like the kids who throw tantrums all
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at some point it started from a space that was probably totally understandable and relatable, but now it's just over the top tantrum, tantrum, tantrum. And that's what her outburst felt like to me. So I'm kind of like, whoa, I'm kind of glad you ate the worm, Michael. No, I'm just kidding. I never condone bullying,
No.
and which is what they were doing. Those
Mhm.
weren't pranks; they were bullying her every chance that they got.
Yeah.
Because to the point where she's crying, she's running out of room, she's running home. Like that's bullying,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's kind of cool with that. But so I get her vengeance aspect. I'm like, get them, girl. I didn't mind her becoming villainous because I think it helped her discover more about herself as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I could have used a little more of a wrap up with her as well. Like, did she become stronger? Did she become braver because of what she went through? Or, I don't know. To me, I feel like there's a lot of places that I wanted this book to go that it just kind of left me hanging.
Well, there are more of these.
Yeah, I know.
So
We'll see.
there is a haunted mask world. So maybe there's more about Carly Beth. Maybe not. I don't know. We will find out.
Yes.
I don't know, honestly. I don't think we're given enough at the end to gauge whether or not she does grow from this in that aspect.
And granted, usually the endings are so tight and they got to work in that twist at the end that like we don't get a major resolution, but this one feels like even more lacking than usual to me in that way.
I feel like a lot of our books, we've had some kind of resolution on, we know where the character's going or what they learned from that occurrence. Like with Welcome to Dead House, they fought back, they saved their family, and then they're like, we're never coming back, let's go.
Right.
With this one, I do love that although it was her mother's love, hello Harry Potter, that kind of saved her. It was her standing up for herself and embracing that love.
Yes.
That really helped her get the mask off. Spoiler alert, y'all should be reading these by now.
Yeah. There should be no spoilers to be had.
Yeah, and I felt like she was empowered. But whether that empowerment stays, no idea. Because that begs the question, do people change with just one instance? Or is that something she's just going to have to work on like throughout her life? Ooh, look at us getting real.
Oh, she's definitely going to have to work on it. The level of scaredy cat she is, you can't just shake that with one haunted mask.
Heck no, the level of Scooby-Doo she's got. I mean, watch Scooby-Doo. Does he ever learn?
Nope. Nope.
Exactly. I think she might be on the Scooby-Doo level. I think she's always going to be afraid to an extent. Maybe it won't be as intense, but I think she's still going to be on the Scooby-Doo level. That's what we're going to start calling that.
Yes, I like it. What did you think of the mask design? I don't think you ever...
I loved it.
Yeah.
I will say that when I read this as a kid, the book cover was what drew me in. I read all of them. I kind of read them out of order, though. I just read them as I could get them at the library.
Yeah.
But like the school library and scholastic fairs.
Yes.
But with That said, this one always stuck out to me. Like, I see the green mask on the cover, and it so throws me back to that time where I was like, "Oh yeah," because I feel like all of us wanted that mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just like, as a kid, it's like, I want to be that for Halloween. That's so cool. As she did, it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, that is so scary and cool and amazing and awesome.
It is. It is. It's got like Green Goblin vibes a little bit. Like it's.
Definitely,
I
100%.
I like it a lot. I would wear that mask now if they made one. So not like
They probably do. You better watch it.
not to
You're
the
gonna get a
grocery
text
store,
from me with
but
like a link to like some random Etsy shop or something.
But yeah, I think this whole back room area with all these strange, freaky masks, like it's that whole sequence is written very well, and it's exciting. It's fun. Like Freddy Krueger gets name dropped multiple times in this book, which is kind of neat.
You know, I was excited
Yeah.
every time.
I think they
I
misspelled
love
it
me
though.
some Freddy. Yeah, well, probably copyright thing.
Could be
They're like, if we just invert a few letters, it's cool. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Freddy Krueger. We know who they're talking about.
Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I agree with you. The scene where he describes each of the masks in the room as she's experiencing them, I feel like it really put me in her place in that moment where you
Hmm.
can visually see each mask. RL did an amazing job describing each one. Like, they were gross. You got texture from it, which you don't get very often, right?
True.
But he really went in there to like describe texture and snot and gooey. And I'm like, ew, keep going, RL.
Yeah.
You know what I did love about The Mask is that in the TV episode, they stayed as faithful as they could to the mask description from the book into the episode.
Hmm.
And even so much as giving it throughout the episode as it became more and more attached to her face and became more her,
Yeah.
they actually added elements to it. The mask started moving more. So it actually looked like skin.
Yeah.
When she first puts it on, it looks like rubber. And towards like the end of it, they've added enough level of moisture and like added whatever texture to it that it looks more like an actual face. Maybe it was prosthetics. I'm not sure. But the way they did that was well done, especially for a kids show. Like, the effort that they put into it going from a rubber mask to looking like her face, like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a point where I was like, "Oh wow, the mask is sweating. That's wild." Like,
Right? Whoever, like, they're all pause, spritz, like, spray her face. But I don't know. I thought that those were nice touches
mhm.
that they put into the TV episode to really keep it true to the book.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think that this TV episode, we're kind of transitioning here.
Okay.
The TV episode, I think, is the closest to the book that we have had of all of the TV episodes.
I was thinking that while watching it. I'm like, this is pretty accurate. They cut out the science fair scene, but I think that's it until
Yeah,
the
and I
end.
think they added the pumpkin scene at the beginning, the
Mm.
pumpkin patch scene,
Right, right.
so that Chuck and Steve can be shown scaring her and being jerk faces. But they took out the science fair scene. And I think, if I had to guess, the reason that they had done that was just for budgeting perspective. You don't need as many actors for that scene. You don't have to worry about having access to like inside of a school.
Hmm.
And I think it might have just been more for budgeting perspective, if I were going to guess.
That makes total sense. And this was the very first episode of the series, so like they were probably just testing the waters.
Hmm. Yeah, out of all of the episodes that we've watched, this one, scene for scene, just I feel like stayed truer to the book, closer to the book,
Hmm.
as close as you could be, while still probably being budget friendly, like you said, testing that first episode to make sure, is this going to land before
Yeah.
we blow all this money in?
And wouldn't you know, it landed.
I think they toned down her reactions pretty well, though, to
Yeah.
make her watchable.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we had to experience what was written with her character, most kids would have just been like, turn it off.
Right.
Because Because we were assholes in the 90s. So to have in like early 2000s, so like to have some little blonde girl screaming on TV all the time, it would have been like, can we change this, please?
No, it's true.
Or it would have been straight Heckle Town.
Straight Heckle
Should have
Town.
given her 5 worms. Heckle Town.
Yeah.
It's a place. They did tone down Chuck and Steve. I noticed that in the TV episode as well. Yes, they played pranks on her, but if you noticed in the scene when she's got the mask on and she's going at them, they actually kind of cow down to her pretty quickly.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah.
And like as bullies go, these guys aren't as ridiculous as the last bullies we encountered with the ghost next door.
For sure. They're not, arsony isn't on their list.
No. They're just jerks, that's all.
Well, and I feel like they try in the TV episode to validate their behavior a little bit better or justify it a little bit more than in the book. In the book, they're just jerks.
Right.
Like even when she first comes up to them with the mask, they're laughing at her and kind of making fun of her. In the TV episode, they tried to kind of tone it down and they're like, it's because we like you, Carly Beth. We do it because we like you. And it's like, that's not what they said in the book. They were jerks in the book.
That's right.
It's because you scare so easily is in the book. So I think they did try to tone their behavior down a bit. I mean, it's not wrong. Usually when boys are mean to a girl, it's...
Well, maybe. It's kind of a weird time to drop that bomb on her, though. It's like, read the room, Chuck and Steve.
Read the room. I do find it interesting, though. The one thing I wish they would have done, because in the book it was referenced quite a few times with like her internal dialogue when she's like, oh my God, how's my voice doing that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And the characters are like, Carly Beth, you don't even sound like you. How are you doing that with your voice? And in the TV episode, they really didn't change her voice much.
No. It was... That's where I would have gone to Heckletown with this episode. This little girl is not scary with that voice. It's not frightening, but like, and oh my God,
I like to be mean candy.
The amount of, that's not bad actually.
Thank you.
The amount of dubbed laughter in this is, or cackling even.
I will say though, even though it wasn't the monstrous low growls like they describe in the book, it is kind of funny how well she cackled and she would throw her head back and like her shoulders back and howl.
Yes.
And it was just like, this little girl's getting into this completely.
She is. She is.
When she howled, I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, same. I wish someone could have been watching me watching that, because I'm sure my face was
Heckletown face.
Yeah. The look of absolute
What the Heckletown?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we get this whole Halloween night, Carly Beth running through downtown, scaring everybody.
Stealing candy. She's turning into the bullies that she opposed.
Mm-hmm.
She's not just pulling pranks, she's stealing candy.
Yep. From children.
How dare you, Carly Beth.
And mothers who were just doing their best. It's like...
That mom squaring off with her was awesome.
That was pretty dope.
I'm like, get her, mama. I want to know how she was able to choke her friend and then be like, ha ha ha, it was just a joke. I can't believe you believed me. It's like, you were choking a bitch. It describes it. Like, she literally choked her. How her friend could then be like, oh yeah, that was a joke. I get it. Like, what?
That was a good one, CB.
If someone's throttling you, I feel like it's not a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so. Unless she's just really weak, and then her friend was like, surely that wasn't her real strength.
She's just playing.
She's just
I
playing.
don't know. Yeah, because that's a good question. When you have the mask on, does it affect your strength?
Mhm.
Does it affect anything else, or is it just like your mental fortitude and your mouth?
If it's giving you like Cave of Wonders or like level voice.
I'm now going to hear that when I read this book.
Yeah, it's her mom wakes her up. Who disturbs my slumber?
You touch the lamp. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question of if the mask actually affects anything else, because it surprised Sabrina, but it didn't seem to actually hurt her. So I feel like it's still Carly Beth like weakness, or I don't want to say weakness. Carly Beth strength? I don't know.
Her tiny baby arms.
Little tiny T-Rex. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because she becomes really nasty and mean.
Yes.
Then, meets up with Sabrina again, and they go to count all their spoils of war. In her case, her stolen spoils.
Yeah.
And mask won't come off. It's part of her skin. So we have her running out of the house into the mask shop. And
yes.
I find it interesting the mask owner's still in there, and he's just like, I've been waiting for you, and lets her in. My thing is you're like an 11 or 12-year-old girl in a locked, dark store
yeah.
with this older man.
Yeah.
Someone didn't teach Carly Beth about stranger danger. Because he literally locks the store door behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't turn on the lights.
Nope.
She references the store is dark. And so it's like, you just walked into a dark room with a strange man, let him lock the door, and then you just go to the back of the store.
Mm-hmm. It's not getting better.
Nope. Her mom needs a swift kick.
Yeah.
For not teaching her. Or Carly Beth needs. Well, we see what happens when you go with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
We have a mask that doesn't come off her head.
That old wives' tale.
It's that urban legend.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you talk to strangers
Mm-hmm.
and give them all your money.
It's true.
So
I've seen it.
I've seen it. I mean, we read it. I've seen it. She's lucky that's all that happened to her, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
And he takes us, back to that room, and he talks about these monsters that are the unloved ones.
Yes.
That he made. He made those.
Yeah.
That was like the real kicker. The twist for me is that he made those masks.
Yes.
He's like, they started off so beautiful, and now, oh no. And I don't know how I feel about that, because it's like, as a villain, you shouldn't give away all your secrets.
Right.
And his help for her, I feel like, is contradictory to what he said, because he said that he keeps those back there so that every so often a person will take it.
Mm-hmm.
Which tells me that there's creatures out there, because the kids couldn't get it off their faces,
Right.
because he's tricked other kids into this. So that just kind of slid under the radar, right? Like, he let that one go really quickly. He's like, yes, every so often someone like you comes in and takes one. Oh, by the way, I made these. And it's like, hold up, pause.
Mm-hmm.
There's more kids out there with this stuck on their face? That's sad.
It is sad.
So then why, if that's his master plan, he wants each one to go to a good home, like these ugly little foster animals. Then why tell her how to remove it?
I don't know. This is such a complicated game he's playing.
It really is, and I feel like RL didn't think that one through.
Yeah.
Like, he's either tricking them because he wants his masks to go to good homes, or he's not tricking them and he feels badly.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's something in between. I don't know. But for me, it's just like, which is it, buddy? You want them to be on someone's face or you don't?
Right. I don't know. I kind of sort of checked out around this time. Like I got a little, I'm like, I'm getting more questions than answers. And it kind of started getting on my nerves a little bit.
I want to know how he made the masks.
Yeah.
Like, how do you create something in a lab that becomes sentient? Like, that's what ultimately the mask is doing. It is trying to possess her and take her over, and its personality and its intentions are
Mm-hmm.
driving everything. So it's basically a demonic possession, but from a mask.
Right.
So like, how did he create these things?
I don't. So in the TV episode, the shopkeeper explains that he was unhappy with his face and he made new ones to hide behind to hide his faults, which I think is a neat addition to the story. But it still
I
kind of
think
goes
that
nowhere.
might come up later in the books.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think they might have pulled that from the books, but like the later ones. I don't know though.
Yeah. That would make sense.
Because I was doing a little bit of Googling, and that did come up as like origin history of the masks. And usually they don't put that in if it was in the TV episode, but I don't know. We'll read
We will.
more later and
Yeah.
find out.
Stay tuned.
It is kind of sad though, if you think about it. Like, he didn't love himself so much that he created these masks to cover himself, but that lack of self-love twisted and disfigured the masks.
Yeah.
And to like get those masks off, you have to love yourself.
Right.
Oh, look at the message there.
That's actually really good. It's a really that makes me like this more.
You're like, oh, Ariel, that was sweet. I mean, okay. RL is writing for the 11 and 12-year-olds kind of demographic, like that range. We'll call it 9 to 13.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 to 13, because that's usually the age range for these books. And what do kids struggle with? We've talked about it. All of these books have some form of bullying. We've seen the books with peer pressure, like in the Ghost Next Door.
Mm-hmm.
And, he does tackle, under the guise of horror, different things, real things that kids are going through. And in this one, I feel like this is the first one that's really tapped into kids and self-esteem.
Yeah.
And also showing that adults can suffer from a lack of self-esteem, because you have the mask shop owner who is like, I didn't love myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I made all these masks and I wore each one, but then they disfigured. And I don't understand how they disfigured. And it's like, well, bro, because you don't love yourself.
Right.
And the reason we know that's why is because the only way to get the mask off, we learn, is through loving yourself, a symbol of love. She had to love herself. Like, her mom's love wasn't enough because she's waving it around, right?
Right.
She's waving it at the masks when they're circling around her. And she's like, no, look, it's love. And they're going to get her anyways. Like, nah, we still going to get you. And it isn't until she puts it on.
Yes.
She puts the love on. She loves herself. Aww. That the masks are like, oops. And they leave.
Time to go back to the shop.
Yep. They're like, damn it. I gotta go back to the shelf. I wonder what they would have done had she not done that. Like, would they have just circled her and all taken turns to be on her? Would they have all piled on her? Like, how does that work? You can only wear one at a time. Would they have eaten her?
Ooh.
They need a face, though. They need a body.
Where it would go right through them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think eating her would benefit them in any sort of way. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's so many things that just weren't answered in this book, and it drives me nuts.
Or they were going to drag her back
mm-hmm.
and then somehow incorporate her into this world of finding more faces for them.
True.
I don't know.
They were going to remove her skin and make a mask out of her.
I'm just trying to fill plot holes here.
I know.
They're like, you've heard of our friend Buffalo Bill. Well, we're taking your face.
Wait, Buffalo Bill Cody or Buffalo Bill Johnson?
Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. You know, the one with the skin suit and tucking it and everything.
Yep.
That was not family friendly.
That was not.
Oh, man. But do you wonder what happens to the mask owner after this? Like, are the masks going to go back really mad at him and, like, take turns whooping him? Like, how does this work?
I guess so.
They're like, you taught her how to do this. You're next.
Oh, that's true. This guy's definitely going to die.
Because they can float around. They don't need him.
Right. Oh.
Like, okay, let's be real. If these things are malevolent and sentient and looking to possess something, they could easily, during Halloween, just kind of float to someone's porch, flop down, and then they could send themselves in the mail. Like, they can lick stamps. They have tongues. And, like, happy Halloween. Wear me.
That's a t-shirt.
It is. You're welcome.
I don't know. Mom, I just got this package in the mail and it's got a lot of green ooze coming out of it.
I mean, they don't use it first.
True.
I just feel like, especially nowadays, like if this were now in modern times, kids are so used to like shipments like Amazon and Temu and all those things. And this is not an ad, but like they're so used to that that they were like, oh, a package for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe mom ordered it for me. You know, most kids that age aren't going to be like, Mom, did you get this for me? It's just score. Mom got this for me. Puts it on and here we go.
That's right. Based on what I know of Temu, that sounds like something that could happen actually. So.
I mean, I would do that, honestly, and I'm an adult. I would get a mask and be like, ooh, someone sent me a mask and put it on. And no one loves me enough to make a sculpture of my head, so I'd be screwed. I'm
going to learn how to.
I'm going to get a package with the sculpture of my head, and it's going to be scary. And I'm going to scream. I'm going to Scooby-Doo like Carly Beth. Yoink, zoinks.
And then you'll text me and I'll be like, hold on, it's going to come into play later. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It'll serve. It'll serve for the future. I mean, I do have a horror office, so I feel like it would fit right in. I'll put the Freddy Kroeger. Frederick Kreger. Frederick Kreger. Because I think it even references Jason, doesn't it? The Friday the 13th. It references a few horror icons, but it's just like, oh, look at you, RL. Trying to do a little nod.
Right. The Voorhees mask. Wait, are we talking Jason or Lark?
That's a good question, because back in the 90s, it could have been Lark. Everybody wants to be Lisa. Totally. So, you know, she finally gets the mask off because of love. Mm-hmm. And she takes it home. And what happens?
Oh, Noah.
Oh, Noah. Oh, Noah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Did we make that joke last time?
I think we did. It's going to be every time we see Noah. I feel like RL has a relative named Noah that wants to be written into books, and he's appeasing them by occasionally naming a character after them. They're like, Noah, I'm going to put you in the book, but you're an annoying little sibling.
Or he's just a big fan of the Book of Genesis.
Yeah, well, he's like, there's no story. There's no arc here except a story arc. Hey. Oh, look at me.
You're so good.
I know it's my Bible. Okay, so they're like, these people are all over the place. We have fun.
Yeah, we do.
So Noah, and that's the thing. The shop owner tells us that you can only put the mask on once and remove it once. The weird thing, though, for me is that he says that it can only be put on and removed once ever. So it doesn't matter if it's not per person. It's just ever. And so then obviously it comes off.
Mm-hmm.
And then she takes it home because, she's not thinking, I should probably destroy this mask.
Yeah.
So this doesn't happen to someone else. And guess what?
It happens to someone else.
Oh, Noah. So Noah puts it on. And he's got the growly voice. And it's like, oh, no, I actually like Noah. It's stuck on Noah. And we don't have a sculpture of his head. Mom, hurry up. Get to the studio.
He's like, hey, Mom, where's my candy?
Where's my candy? I don't want to be a duck.
I want a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
It would be funny if it had like the reverse effect on Noah. And he's like, can I have a
sandwich? Yes. Pitches up boys, pitches down girls.
Right? Exactly. It's like a mirror world, but, for masks. Yes. Mirror masks.
Mirror masks. Miramax.
But not Miralax. So no. My question is was that a plot hole as well? Because I feel like that was used so that the twist would be scary. But haven't these masks already been on somebody because the mask owner put them on?
I mean, yeah, and there's also
took them off.
Right. And there's also the flawed logic in that she put the mask on and took it off earlier in the book.
Yes, she did.
So it's like, this is now the fourth time of one times that this mask can be put on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is not jiving correctly. I feel like someone forgot what the rules of their universe were, because definitely she took it off already previously. And then, it's implied that he also has put the mask on.
Right.
And so, like, Noah's cool. He's fine. Because I feel like for her, it was the longer she kept it on, the more it stuck to her. The more she let the personality take over and possess her, the more it became seamlessly attached to her.
Right, right.
But for everybody who first puts it on, it's like it hasn't taken over yet. Yeah. And you haven't done bad things. You haven't let the possession fully take control, so you can take it off it, and it gets more difficult as you go along. So for me, I'm like, there's still hope for you, Noah. That mask owner lied.
He's being dramatic.
Or maybe he said that so she'd destroy it.
Oh yeah, I mean that would make sense.
Like if she thinks it's more permanent than it is, then she would hack it up. And so maybe that was his hope, is that, hey, if this kid actually succeeds in getting it off, if I tell her that, maybe she will slice and dice it.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger style. So how do you feel about this one? Like, when it comes to the book and the TV episode, which would you pick if you had to?
I guess I would pick the book.
The book.
But maybe the TV episode for a change. Because I really like the addition there at the end of the shopkeeper not loving himself, so he creates the mask. And if that is, in fact, a plot detail later, then maybe I like the episode less then. But as for right now, in all honesty, I really am not crazy about this book. As much as I like the cover for it and the designs and such, like, this book feels like one of the weakest entries to me, which is super weird because R.L. Stine says this is his favorite.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm like, have you not read the others, bro? What about you?
In terms of the story, I'm going to probably go with the book just because we get more detail and more information from it. I think in execution, I'm going to probably lean towards the TV episode, which is a first for me as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because they toned down a bit of her Scooby-Doo reactions.
Yeah.
And it really allowed us to kind of be in it with her panic and her terror a bit more. At least for me, I didn't disconnect as easily. I do like, looking into the Haunted Mask series of books that they've released, 1, 2, Scream of the Haunted Mask and all of that. this is one of the few ones that I think they keep the characters, so the world stays similar. So, like, Scream of the Haunted Mask still has Carly Beth and Sabrina, and
Wow.
so and Chuck and Steve, and so I like that in this world, the Haunted Mask really is that town, those
Mhm.
characters, that experience. And so I like that because with like the dummy one, the Night of the Living Dummy, it changes
Yeah.
houses and characters, and which can be fun too. You meet new people, but with this one, I like that the terror is consistently staying with that group, which we might learn. Does Carly Beth grow? So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm pretty pumped about that because I kind of just assumed that all of his books were one story and then, just
Off to
anthology.
the next.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
like the connective thread here. So we'll see.
Yeah. And, it wasn't my favorite out of the ones that we have reread and watched so far. Not my favorite. I think it's probably one of my favorite covers.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one of my favorite books, but I like the world that it builds. So I'm looking forward to the rest.
I am too. And I'm looking forward to talking about them with you.
'Cause you're my favorite. So at some point, we will need to watch the Disney series because I have read that the Haunted Mask does make an appearance in the Disney series.
Ooh,
So
okay. I'm down.
I haven't watched it yet, but that is what I've heard. So that would be interesting to see how they modernized it.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Heck yes. All right, Gary, what is our next book coming up?
Up next, we have book number 12. Be careful what you wish for. ...
Ooh, and I'm looking forward to this one because it's got the crystal ball, and you know me.
Oh yeah.
3 haunted crystal balls, and this is 3 haunted junior. We're probably going to go there again. No, I'm just kidding. So
We might.
I am excited for this one. I like the idea of wishing and like wishes gone wrong. So I'm excited to read this one again because I really don't remember the storyline. I know I read it, I just don't remember it too well.
Yeah, I don't remember this one either.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. And again, love the idea of wishes gone wrong. We see it with Aladdin.
Yes.
And but also, I don't know if you remember these movies, but do you remember the Wishmaster movies? They're
I do.
horror.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're like what, D horror? But whatever they are, that's not an insult. I love those movies. They were awful. They were gory. They were fun. They were just, yes. So given that, I'm looking forward to reading this and seeing how do those wishes go wrong.
Me too.
All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things Goosebumps. Are you looking for more spooky podcast content? Check out 3 Haunted Podcast, where Ashley and friends talk about all the things that give you goosebumps.
And if you're looking for more nostalgic content, you can find me at the Wax Nostalgic Network, various podcasts, YouTube videos, etc. at waxnostalgicnetwork.com.
Until next time. Mask won't come off. It's part of her skin.
I have to tell you how mature I felt. The fact that I only laughed like 5 times with the amount of times that the phrase, I can't get it off, help me get it off, was stated in this book.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of it that way. And I have an obscene mind. You topped it. Although you don't ever want to hear, get the scissors.
Oh.
Help me get it off.
Nope.
Nope. That is not how you want to get it off. So
So Steve Boswell is the character in the second book. So I was wondering if like maybe it would pick up with Noah. That would be cool. Like second book is what happens with Noah, but it doesn't seem.
How does Steve get it? He's the bully.
Is it the same Steve?
That is the same Steve. That's
Boswell.
her bully, Steve Boswell.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Carly Beth is in the sequel? Sabrina's in it?
Yeah, and it's a different mask, actually.
Oh. Neato burrito.
Because if you look at the cover, he's got like an old man mask on. It's a different mask.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As punishment for setting a squirrel loose in the girls' locker room.
Oh my.
Starting off
He's
juicy.
kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
I thought Chuck was the rude one, but like Steve's taking the cake in Dickville.
Taking the cake in Dickville. I think I've seen that movie.
Hey! That's well played, actually. Well played. I tip my hat to you, sir.
I only play well.
You're on one today. You found your words. My words disappeared.
Okay.
That's okay.
We're a team.
Yay, team. You get to lead the words because my words are all over the place today. They must have disappeared into Mirrorland.
Oh no, not Mirrorland.
I know. Dickville.
No, you win it with Dickville. That's
Oh, but I thought we had it with What the Heckletown.
Oh, that too. Don't sell yourself short. You're doing amazing.
I would never sell myself short. I will exaggerate my sell price and be like, I am super tall. I have problems.